What are the challenges of self-ownership in modern ethical dilemmas? Imagine a world where everyone truly owns themselves. Sounds simple, right? But when we start applying this idea to real-life issues today, things get complicated fast. Self-ownership is a core idea in libertarianism, meaning people have full rights over their bodies and actions. It's about personal freedom and control. But many questions pop up when we try to put this into practice. First, there's the problem of understanding what self-ownership really means. Some people see it as owning oneself like a piece of property. Others view it as having sovereignty over your body, like a territory. This difference can cause confusion. If you think of yourself as property, it raises questions about how you gain that ownership and what limits there are. If you see yourself as a sovereign, it's about control and autonomy. These ideas can clash, making it hard to agree on what self-ownership entails. Another challenge is how society's rules and laws affect personal control. Governments often pass laws that restrict certain choices, like drug use or reproductive rights. These laws can seem to conflict with the idea that individuals own themselves fully. Society's norms and expectations also influence how people see their rights. Sometimes, social pressure makes it harder to act freely, even if you technically have the right to do so. There's also a debate about labor and property. Libertarians believe that control over one's body extends to the work they produce. But when economic inequality is high, questions arise. Should someone who works hard own more, or does that create unfair advantages? How do we balance individual rights with fairness and social stability? These are tough questions that challenge the idea of self-ownership in economic terms. Philosophical critics argue that self-ownership might oversimplify complex issues. For example, when it comes to taxes or social responsibilities, some say that individual rights shouldn't ignore the impact on others. If everyone owns themselves completely, does that mean they can ignore social obligations? This can lead to disagreements about what is fair or just. In practical terms, self-ownership influences debates on personal freedom, economic liberty, and individual rights. For example, libertarians support the idea that people should decide about their bodies, whether that's about drug use or reproductive choices. But applying this principle to real-world policies can be tricky. It's about finding the right balance between personal freedom and social responsibility. So, the main challenges of self-ownership today come from how we interpret ownership, how laws and social norms interfere, and how we handle economic and social issues. These questions keep the concept alive and relevant, even if they make applying it more complicated. It's a lively debate that shows how foundational ideas can face real-world tests.